Good morning, dearest families, friends, teachers, members of the administration, and the unbelievable 63 graduates sitting on stage by my side. Thank you for supporting the graduating class of 2015 by being here on this special day. I am beyond thrilled and sincerely honored to be a representative of this outstanding grad class as this year's valedictorian. It will be impossible to do this great justice in an 8-minute speech, but nonetheless, I will make my best attempt. First and foremost, to the beloved parents in the audience, how does one begin to thank and appreciate the people who have stood by us for the past 18 years of our lives? There really is no way for us to fathom the immense amount of dedication and sacrifice that comes with parenting. But on top of dealing with the economically startling consequences of having a child, you somehow manage to comfort and care for your daughters throughout their time at York House. While each of our schooling experiences differ, I'm sure most of the parents in the room have come across the excitement of wearing a kilt for the first time in grade 4, late night speed packing before outdoor education trips, the uncertainty of whether it's Navy or White Sox season, exam stress eating, or the anticipation of whether it's going to be a snow day or not, even though there's maybe 3 centimeters of snow outside. I personally apologize to any of the parents in the room who had to endure traffic duty in the rain, or traffic duty at all. Know that although we have grown to be colder and significantly more sarcastic since our days in the junior school, your encouraging involvement and continuous attempts at trying to start a conversation with us about how our school day went did not go unnoticed. And we seriously love you. And we secretly hope you never stop taking excessively zoomed in, bad quality photos of us at school events. Now, I'd like to address the people who have made school possible for us. Because without them, York House would just be a building with a lot of expensive books and teenagers who don't really know what to do with them. Please bear with me through this attempt at an analogy based on a real experience from my time in grade 2. My teacher at the time, Miss Grills, noticed that I hold my pencil in a rather peculiar and odd fashion, so she took on the task of trying to correct my unconventional pencil holding form. She gave me tutorials, spoke words of motivation, and finally came to the conclusion that I should use a special grip that would somehow force my fingers into the proper form. I was clearly not a fan of this addition to my pencil, so I continuously pushed the rubbery grip aside and carried on writing in my preferred style. And it did not take long for Miss Grills to catch on. But she never mentioned it again, and now I have crooked fingers because of how I hold my pencil. But anyways, I suppose my point is, that bright green pencil grip and Miss Grills' willingness to let me figure things out for myself really represents the patience and incredible selflessness that each teacher at York House has. While there is a certain standard of excellence for the students at York House, these teachers have made it easy for us to grow into our own and really establish ourselves as the unique individuals that we are today, without letting the pressures or expectations get to our head. It's hard for me to comprehend that not all students get the privilege of having teachers spend their mornings, lunches, and after-school hours with people who help them understand several concepts, coach various sports, or simply have a laugh with us. Not all students can look to their teachers for advice or have them as vital support systems. Not all students have the opportunity of knowing their teachers beyond their roles as teachers, but luckily we have experienced all of the above. The amount of time, effort, and care that each teacher puts into their jobs in order to integrate themselves so that they can understand their students and the culture of York House School makes them the unforgettable role models that they are. Thank you to every teacher who has, perhaps unknowingly, inspired or impacted our lives in the best of ways. Thank you for keeping us grounded. Thank you for those times you decided to talk about something aside from the curriculum, because those were the most memorable lessons. And a huge thank you for putting up with the various quirks that us Yorkies have. From crying at the idea of doing mediocrely on a math test in grade 9, asking if everything is worth marks, and allowing heated debates between passionate and opinionated young women to occur during class time. I'd like to take this moment to recognize the staff members who will be leaving York House this year, either temporarily or permanently. Mr. Johnston, Mr. Rendell, Mr. Britt, Madame Fort, Miss Kim, Mr. Robb, Madame LeMay, Miss England. Every one of these teachers have made a distinct mark on this school in positive and enlightening ways. And as they fully or partially graduate with us, we hope that they're as prepared as we are for that world outside York House. Finally, to the graduating class of 2015. What could I possibly have to tell you that you don't already know? I'm definitely not the most profound student here, not the smartest or the most athletic. I'm not a lot of things is what I'm getting at, but I think the best that I can do is to give you a few takeaways from my past 12 years at York House. We need to stop overanalyzing the things that we aren't and make an effort to acknowledge and love the things that we are. It took a solid 11 years here for me to realize that there's so much that comes out of loving yourself for everything that you are. And you are all so deserving of knowing that you are more than what you aren't. Secondly, this world is so big and we're just so small. And what I mean by that is, during this weird and unpredictable time of our lives, as we're expected to take on adult responsibilities, but we're not really seen as adults. As we're bursting out of this beautiful bubble of a school into the not-so-sheltered real life, we need to stay open-minded and aware that we've been so privileged to have been taught the set of values that York House has always cherished. And we need to take the many lessons we have learned here and exert them in a progressive and mindful way. We all eagerly signed up for adulthood at the beginning of this year by applying to different universities and looking into several different career paths. I know I'm not just speaking for myself when I say that the concept of us being seen as young adults is quite frightening and is happening far too fast. Finally, Grads of 2015. As each of you move on to bigger things, and still have that unavoidable gut feeling telling you that you're still a kid. Remember that you're taking this step with 63 other Yorkies who are feeling the exact same things. And that these strong and beautiful women will always be around to support you, inspire you, and genuinely love you along the way. Thank you for giving me this chance to speak on behalf of these extraordinary young women. Congratulations to the class of 2015.